Hey, what do you call a fast zombie? A zombie.
Hey, shh.
Welcome back to Not Another Needless Sequel, where we watch movies and propose unnecessary prequels, sequels, reboots, and remakes. My name is Kane. With me, as always, is my co-host and wife, Kelsey.
Repent. The end is extremely fucking nigh.
This week, the days are numbered in 2002's 28 Days Later. Before I ask you what the story is, this is the 82nd episode, which is 28 days later. How did I do it?
How did you do it?
I perfectly timed it the beginning. This is what this podcast has all been about, is getting to this moment.
Yeah, because we knew 82 episodes ago this movie was coming out.
I was super excited when I noticed it.
That's really cool, actually. Proud of you.
I'm so glad I was finally able to tell you that.
How long have you been keeping that a secret?
Last night. Is when I found out. But I was still like, this is going to be good.
In Hercules, he's like, meh, it's going to be big. What does he say?
Indoor plumbing.
Indoor plumbing. It's going to be big. That's you right now with this.
So what do you think the story was?
Basically an apocalyptic infection. They call it rage in the movie, that activists free monkeys that are infected with it, and it infects the entire world's population. And the movie starts out meeting a guy named Jim 28 days after the outbreak.
Yeah, so some activists break into Cambridge to free these monkeys who have been experimented on, and there's a scientist there that warns them, hey, that they are dangerous, you can't let them out, and they do, and the monkeys immediately bite one of the women that are there as an activist, and she's infected. And so when they're infected with this rage, the way that it seems to work is, I mean, we're going to refer to them as zombies, but they're not zombies. They are still alive. They just are so, like, they're blinded. They can't do anything but rage and try and kill you.
And murder, yeah.
Yeah, so...
But just getting any drop of blood of them into any open, I want to say orifice, but I hate that word, but like if you had a cut on your hand or your eyeball or your mouth or your nostril,
yeah,
you will immediately become infected within 10 to 20 seconds. It is extremely fast acting. It is not like a zombie bite.
Let's not lean too hard into that 10 to 20 seconds, even though they definitely said it in the movie. Let's just pretend that's not real.
Why?
It depends on my sequel.
Mine does too, you'll see.
Okay.
Interesting.
Anyway, after that break-in, our main character Jim wakes up from a coma. He's a bicycle courier, and he was in some kind of accident.
That's where The Walking Dead got their idea.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I want to know what kind of accident this bicycle courier got in that required him to be fully nude on the operating table.
Well, it looked like he had like a scar on his head. I don't know if you noticed it, but I think that's why half of his head was shaved, was because it seemed like he had brain surgery.
Okay, I see.
But I don't actually know.
Well, still, maybe a modesty towel before you guys abandon the hospital.
I know, that's true. A modesty towel before they all get rage.
Yeah, so he doesn't know what's going on. You know, he is searching the city. It does feel very Walking Dead, which obviously this came before The Walking Dead. I think even before the comics. I don't know. So, obviously you wouldn't know what's going on. There's not a bunch of infected just like roaming the streets where he is.
He's like picking up money, getting stuff to drink.
Yeah, he's just dying.
If you think he probably hasn't eaten in a month. Yeah.
When, he does finally come in contact with the infected, he doesn't know what they are, and he thinks that it's a person he can talk to, and they immediately run at him. The thing about the infected in this movie is they are all fast, and they actually cast like real life athletes as the infected in the movie, so that they had that physicality to them where they are moving like faster than just your average human would.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they're just crazy quick, and they run so aggressively.
So he eventually realizes that something's wrong with these people, and he's about to be killed, and he's saved by two people that are traveling together, Selena and Mark.
Yeah, find out he was in a coma. They kind of are explaining this situation to him. He wants to go to his parents' house, and they, for whatever reason, agree to take him there. I guess they don't really have any plan. They're not a group that's like, we're going to get to Washington and get a cure. Like, They're just like, this is it. This is what we do. We
Yeah.
just survive. So he goes to his parents' house and finds the most depressing note ever. His parents, it seems like not just his parents. A lot of people in this world chose to end their own life before dealing with everything that was going on.
But I didn't write down exactly what the note said.
Me neither.
But the note says, please don't wake up. We'll be with you now because we're not going to wake up anymore.
So they were like waiting on their son. And it seemed like he lived with his parents. Like,
yeah. And they're holding a photo of him.
Yeah. Awful. Just, it's so depressing. He's obviously ruined by this, but this does lead to Mark dying. He gets
bitten.
Does he get bitten, or does he get like?
I think she says bitten.
Yes, you see, this is the moment where they mention the 10 to 20 seconds thing, because Selena looks at Mark, and Mark's like, no, wait, I'm not, and she just absolutely destroys him with a machete. And this is people that you're introduced as a group. Like, you think, oh, she's gonna feel something.
Together.
Like,
yeah.
Well, you think in zombie things, when even if someone's just your like group mate, when you have to kill them, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, you feel bad.
She didn't question it.
No, and it makes sense though, because they are so dangerous. Like, they're so fast, so aggressive. They're
really fast and really strong.
Well, yeah, but also they don't have to bite you. Like, and they throw up blood. And you mentioned, like, if you get blood in anything, and they do, they're constantly puking this little stream of blood. So
they're like the acid spitters in Back 4 Blood.
Yeah. So, Jim is, surprised by Selena's brutality, but they go off together. And Selena makes mention through the movie, basically, she's like, look, I don't give a fuck. If you're bit, I'll kill you too. And I'll kill anyone like that. So Mark's dead, of course. And they eventually, they're like running up this apartment building because they see Christmas lights in a window, and they're like, people must be alive. And they mention they haven't seen anyone alive. The thing is this is all, like you said, 28 days after the initial incident of the Cambridge break-in. But it feels like they've been at this shit for years because how fast it went.
Yeah.
Because, like, once somebody gets infected, like, imagine dropping something moving that fast and with no plan, just attacking anything, just like in the middle of a crowd. Like, you would so quickly just be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So, they end up meeting... Well, actually, I wanted to say, as they're going up these stairs, the infected are following behind them, they find out. And there's a moment where they're moving through the stairs quietly, and as soon as they hear the infected, Selena goes, quiet! There's an infected.
Yeah.
And she yells it. It's the loudest point in the whole movie.
I think another thing at that was Jim needed a break because he's obviously been asleep and in a coma all of this time. He's not going to be in great shape. And as soon as the infected come, she takes off and leaves him. And he's like the entire time, don't leave me.
Yeah.
Don't leave me. And I'm like, buddy, number one, save your breath. And number two, she already told you she don't care.
Yeah. She's not on your side. And they like, all he's eaten since he's been awake from his coma is sugar. He gets like malt balls and Pepsi.
Yeah.
And that can't be great.
No.
And she even mentions, like, yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. So here, take some painkillers and more chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And also, with this being... This is not taking place in America, obviously. So this is
in England.
Yes, and not everybody has guns. It's not like The Walking Dead where Rick went to a police station and immediately just loaded up on guns. So they get to this top of this building, and they're saved by a man named Frank. He's got like this full SWAT gear and a SWAT shield, and so he lets them through and then kind of like shoves the infected back. And they get inside his apartment that he's kept safe. He's there with his daughter, Hannah, and... Who's
like maybe a teenager. She's not very old. She's definitely not old enough to drive.
Yeah. Frank and Hannah, they are kind of desperate. Eventually it's revealed that they're, glad that they found Selena and Jim, because Frank is like, I have to get her out of this apartment. Like, we can't stay here like this. There's no future. Like, we're going to run out of food, all this stuff. And I heard a radio broadcast, and there's a radio broadcast that is just repeating, saying that there's this military group out there, and like they can get there, it's safe, they have the answer to the infection.
So they all decide to go.
Frank was a cab driver, and so he has a cab, and he just, needed their help because he couldn't do it alone. So they're all going to go to this military blockade, And on the way, they fucking drive through this bridge. I think it was a mistake. They ask as they're pulling up to the bridge.
Yeah.
Do we go through this bridge or do we go around?
Around.
Just go
Jim
around.
was the only one that said around.
Yes, it's a dark bridge and not even, I mean, I say bridge, I mean tunnel. It's a dark tunnel that they're going through. And if that wasn't enough, they can't drive through it. They have to drive on top of all the cars that are stopped in this tunnel.
That's crazy. I was so surprised the taxi even made it. I literally thought one of them was going to die right there.
Well, they damn near could have, because when they get off of the driving on top of the roofs of the cars, a tire is popped. Which, surprise to fucking surprise, don't drive on top of cars.
Yeah, so the daughter is down there, Hannah's down there to change the tire, and all of a sudden you hear something and just hundreds of rats run.
And I thought the rats were going to be infected the first time I saw this movie. And I thought they were just going to absolutely destroy them because as soon as they bite you, you're done.
Correct.
And that's probably why they avoided saying that rats were infected. There's even a moment in the movie somewhere where they see some horses and they ask, are the horses infected? And they don't think so. So maybe animals besides things that are, I guess, closer to humans, like monkeys.
Yeah.
But that tire change scene is intense as fuck because once the rats are coming and they realize it's infected, they're like, fuck the jack, everybody lift the car.
Yeah, they lifted it, and Hannah changes the tire, which good on her for knowing how to do that.
Yeah, plus, you know, they're fucking twisting on the damn lug nuts on this tire while things are I was like, get one on, I guess, and try and get away. I don't know, like...
They all did get away. And then it was a nice scene because they found a grocery store and went inside and...
That is a nice scene.
And shopped, and then they went to a field and kind of ate dinner and broke bread over a fire.
Yeah, they had like a picnic.
And, yeah. It was a nice, like, break to the intensity of the movie, I think.
Well, it's nice for them to try and take a moment to just fucking enjoy something in this horrible world they live in.
Correct.
But when they get to that blockade, there's nobody there. And...
Frank kind of gets pissed and loses it a little bit.
Yeah, so understandably, all he cares about is his daughter, and now he's like, I guess I have no idea what my daughter's future is. And he walks over to this wall because there's a crow up there that's, like, keeps crowing at him, and he gets mad. And he kicks it. The crow was pecking at, like, a dead body up there. And when he kicks this wall where the crow was, a drop of blood from this body falls and lands in his eyeball. He knows. He sees his daughter, Hannah, and he's like, hey, Hannah, I just wanted to tell you that I really love you. Like, he's saying his goodbyes, basically.
And then he kind of starts to change.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be, again, 10, 20 seconds, and it does feel about that. He's like, get away from me, and he's raging. Some soldiers, though, arrive to the blockade at that point.
And kill him.
Yeah.
They take Jim, Selena, and Hannah in.
Yeah, so there is soldiers. They just don't stay at this blockade. They more just, like, pick people up, I guess, from it.
Yeah, and they go to a mansion.
Yeah, so they have this big mansion.
It almost seems like it's on a plantation.
It has a lot of land around it because they have, like, mines sewn into the ground. They have all of these barbed wire fences. They have floodlights, guns, like, they're holding out here. Mm-hmm. So, at this blockade, it seems like things are going to be good.
Okay.
But why are you saying okay like that? Oh, I thought you were like, okay. Things seem like they're going to be okay.
Obviously, things seem like they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Yes, but then it's revealed that their leader there, Major Henry West, is like, oh, hey, by the way, I set up this broadcast actually just to lure women in because my men were going to kill themselves, and so I promised them women.
And we can repopulate the earth.
Just the absolute worst thing you could have said. Like,
yeah, and Jim fights back, so Jim and one other guy that's in the, like, military group fight back, so they're going to go kill them.
Yes, they bring them to a pit to execute them.
Which is, you can clearly tell they've murdered other people.
Yeah, they've been doing this. And so I don't know even...
There was women in that pile, so...
I don't know. I guess they were obviously gone. They were evil. They lost it. There's no argument to be made here. The repopulating the earth should not be done against anyone's will. If the Earth's gotta go, the Earth's gotta go. And I said that when we were watching it, is that if you happen to have a relationship bloom in an apocalypse, great. But it shouldn't be under the thought of, I have to do this for the world.
Right, and it kind of showed Jim and Selena, like...
Yeah.
Like each other.
I mean, Selena grew on him because she obviously was like, I don't care about anyone. And she also seems to have taken a liking to Hannah, and they kind of feel responsible for Hannah since Frank died.
Yeah, and she Selena's trying to protect Hannah, and Jim is trying to save the both of them. And
Well, hold on. So at where he's still at that execution pit where he was supposed to be killed, I wanted to say something about that. Because you were mentioning there was all the dead bodies in there already.
Mm-hmm.
They actually the film crew forgot to take some of the dead bodies after filming that scene. And there was a local hairdresser that saw these bodies from the road, and she panicked, crashed her car, and called the police. And they had to come out there and investigate, and they interviewed the crew and stuff to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Dang.
There's a moment, though, when he's going to be executed, when Jim sees up in the sky there is a jet flying over. And there's somebody mentions in the movie that maybe the infection didn't get everywhere. Other people say it did. Other people say they saw on the news New York.
Paris.
Yeah, but other people are saying that maybe it's not spread. And seeing that jet fly by makes him think that it could be right. Now, the shot of the jet flying overhead, it was shot by the director, but he didn't shoot it just on set. He took one of the cameras home, and he spent 2 days filming planes through the trees in his backyard. And they added that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a unique way to get it done.
And
that's
and
probably
like
also why.
Saving money.
Yeah, for sure. Rather than trying to CGI
And the
that.
environment.
Yeah. So, Jim, though, he is able to escape because they have like a scuffle at this execution pit where the one guy wants to stab the fellow soldier that's being executed as well. And another guy's like, no, man, just shoot him. And it causes a moment where Jim is able to
escape.
Yeah. Jim turns into Rambo
He
at
does.
this moment. It is literally pouring rain. He is just like appearing behind people, breathing heavily. He's killing everyone. He was made for this world.
Mm-hmm.
In this scene, I was like, "You're gonna do just fine, Jimbo."
Yeah.
Because early on, they ask him like, "How many people have you killed?" And he's like, "Oh, I killed one kid." A little kid attacks him earlier in the movie, which is like an infected kid. And you think, like, damn, he's not going to make it. Like, you know, he's not tough enough. But absolutely, he kills everybody. He's sticking his thumbs and eyes.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
He's ridiculous. So, eventually, after they've taken out all of the soldiers...
The guy who's in charge, they call him the mayor, but it's Mayor West, is camping.
Major. He's a
Major
soldier.
West, you're right. He's camping in their taxi and shoots Jim in the stomach.
What is he doing in there? What is his plan?
He's a camper.
There we go. Yeah, he shoots Jim in the stomach, and you don't know if he's going to die.
And Hannah kills him.
Good.
Hannah feeds him to the infected.
Good on her. I mean, that's part of it, too, is Jim releases... They had an infected guy chained up there, and Jim releases him.
To kill everyone.
Gets out and is also killing people while Jim is doing what he has to.
Jim is killing people in such a rageful way that Selena thinks that he's infected.
Yeah, that's an interesting scene because...
She was going to kill him.
Yeah.
And she paused.
And she did pause. Although I argue that the way that she swung, she wasn't going to kill him even if she wanted to. Like, it was too, like, she was already so close and she was like, ugh. Like, yeah. That wasn't going in.
I think she saw, because a lot of the time the people who are infected with the rage, their eyes are red, and his eyes weren't red.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have completely, like, bloodshot red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But we do fast forward a little bit and see that Jim is okay. And they are basically building this giant, like, help out of cloth. Like, each letter is just made of cloth. And there's a jet.
Hello.
Oh, hello. You're right. It says hello.
Yeah.
There's a jet that jet's still, like, flying around. And when it flies by, they are, like, laying it out and waving and trying to get their attention. So you don't know exactly if they're going to be picked up. But that's the end of the movie. When this movie came out, Stephen King bought an entire showing of the film in New York City.
Oh, that's cool.
Even though Stephen King's kind of a weirdo here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that this movie is spoofed in the music video for LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem?
I don't. I've never seen that music video.
Apparently neither did I. Until I read this and I was like, you're fucking lying.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
Is it spoofed?
Yes.
Is it good?
I don't know if it's good. It's just the most insane. Why did they choose this movie?
Yeah.
Sorry for party rockin'.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that feel like... Anyway.
I mean, this doesn't feel like it should be that.
I think what it is in the music video, it's less of rage. They're infected with, like, this party rock. Like, they just want to party rock.
All right, so go back to the movie.
So the budget for this movie was $8 million, and they walked out of there with $84.6 million.
That's pretty good for a horror movie, to be honest.
Yeah, and especially, like, this movie, it doesn't look like other movies made in 2002 because they didn't film it mostly with a traditional camera. They use, like, a handheld...
A camcorder.
Yes. On Rotten Tomatoes, 28 Days Later has an approval rating of 87% based on 235 reviews with an average rating of 7.4 out of 10. I feel like all the movies we've done lately for Rotten Tomatoes
have a lower average than, like, the percent show.
Yeah, I rated it a 4 out of 5. What
Me
I really
too.
like is, like, the rage seems more interesting to me than, I guess, a generic zombie thing, because it does feel like there's a sadness there that these people still almost are there and alive.
Mm-hmm.
They actually do show something in the movie where it seems like they are starving to death, the infected.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
it does.
Nice because
they start moving slower.
Yeah, well, in other things, they're like, yeah, it's been 3 years and the infected are still not starving.
Yeah.
But, the zombies are really good. I do think that the emptiness that you feel when he first wakes up was done really well. And, like I mentioned, how fast everything happened in this 28 Days Later is really threatening. You're like, it's been 28 days and... that's all it took, and you think, like, the whole world's done.
I just wish that the reason that they, which, like, I kind of changed this in my sequel, at the mansion, I don't feel like it should have been to seduce women. They could have changed that reasoning, and I feel like it would have changed the dynamic of the story.
I guess that does suck that it, in the end, was just... I mean, I don't know. I guess it almost can come back to, like, the way some humans are.
Yeah, you'll see in my sequel soon, but I feel like they almost could have been, like, trapping these people to try and test them and see if, like, there was...
a cure or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't love that. So, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't survive in this world. I don't think so. Not with how fast these things are. Like, especially since knowing that they were cast with athletes, like, you'd have to be an athlete to outrun them.
Yeah.
Like, and your average person's just not. I know in movies like Zombieland, he covers, like, get your cardio in. But when they're that quick, you've got to do more than
panic, yeah.
Well, that too. I didn't even think of that. Panicking alone can kill you because you don't know where to go. But you're not getting away unless you're doing a full marathon training regimen every day of the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, could you survive these zombies? Resident Evil.
Yeah.
No.
As long as it's not that big one.
She's only seen
1 through 3.
The movies.
Yeah.
She's not played the games.
I have not.
My friends, so
okay.
Don't judge her. There's a lot of mutations in that. There's dogs that can get infected in that, and their mouths open up. There's
It's a demodog.
Yeah, you remember the lickers in the movie in the church when she drives that bike into them in this second movie? I mean, they have like their brains exposed and they have a long tongue and they crawl around. I'm not dealing with that.
Okay.
The Last of Us?
No. Well, here's the thing. When those big ones come around, it's hard. You would have to not run into one of those big ones.
The, like, hive mind aspect of that makes it really hard, I think, to deal with. Yeah, because
it just got into the...
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. The Walking Dead?
Yes.
I think I could deal with those zombies. It's the people, really, that are the problem.
Yeah.
Back for Blood?
No.
As soon as an ogre comes out, no.
Done. Toast.
Not even an ogre. As soon as a hag or a fucking... What are those? Are those things called hags?
What about them big fists? The hag is that one that eats you.
Yeah, the one that like comes out and picks you up and its whole face is all those arms. Fuck that. Mm-hmm. I would have used Left 4 Dead, but I know that you haven't played Left 4 Dead.
I haven't.
So, World War Z.
I don't remember that movie very well.
They were just as fast as these ones, and they pile on top of each other to scale walls.
That's right, so no.
No.
The only ones we could survive is The Walking Dead.
I didn't really think about it when I was making this list, but I see now that I just made an unwinnable list.
That's okay. I won the game.
Oh. What was your prize?
A sequel.
Okay. Well, 28 Years Later comes out this week, so that's exciting. After a long time, I didn't think they'd ever do a sequel to this movie.
That trailer is super chilling because of the song.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good.
Like, the first time I watched that trailer, it like tickled a different part of my brain I've never felt before. Like,
My eyes just got big and I rolled my eyes. I didn't like him saying it tickled his brain.
I'm telling you, it unlocked something. Like,
It
that's...
unlocked your cane tingle.
Now, that song, it's not really a song. That's actually a poem, and I don't remember the specifics of it in this moment, but it is kind of a dark poem. It's about a war, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, what is your sequel?
My sequel, it's a remake, but also a continuation as a TV show. Okay, season 1. 28 days later, a retelling of the first movie, but I think that it should get more into the character backstories. I'm not going to go much more than that because I have seasons 2 through 5 to get through.
Okay.
So season 2 is it's 4 seasons, but I skipped season 3 for some reason, so my apologies. 28 weeks later, at first you're going to meet a new group of people and military group trying to figure everything out. Flash to the airplane flying over the hello sign. Jim, Selena, and Hannah are rescued. At first, it seems all okay. They're fitting in. Suddenly, things start to feel off. Hannah stumbles across a portion of the facility that's on lockdown and finds out that people there are experimenting on the people that they rescue from the wild to try and find a cure. And then they eventually kill them. When they decide to try and escape, Hannah is caught, and they're going to make Hannah their next victim because she caught what they were doing and don't want anyone else to find out. Jim and Selena join with some of the other, I want to say survivors, but like refugees, I guess would be a better word, and fight back, ultimately winning. Some people are going to die in the process, and Selena's going to be gravely injured. Okay. Season 4 is 28 months later. Time's passed since the experimentation. Jim and a big group of the people, along with Selena, have started a new life in a community and kind of built the community for themselves. We see Selena pregnant, and her and Jim are worried. There's very few doctors in the community or medicines. It's going to kind of show like this is still an apocalyptic world. Rifts start to occur over the jobs that happen, and Jim and Selena and Hannah all decide they want to leave after the baby is born because they found evidence of another military base with a possible cure. However, it's really far away, so they need to wait till she's not pregnant. They have the baby and all is well until a member of the community becomes infected, and Selena and the baby get caught in the crowd, infected, and die. Gut-wrenching. Jim and Hannah escape, and while devastated, they have to move forward. The season ends with them finding the new place they all had talked about. Season 5, 28 years later. Jim and Hannah have been at this military operation for the last 28 years. They're going to be side characters. The season's going to follow Hannah's children. Jim, obviously, is going to be like her father, protective of the children. Scientists believe that they are on the cusp of finding a cure, and they have rebuilt, I don't want to say much of the population because it's obviously not going to be different, but they've rebuilt a lot of things in a lot of the population.
Yeah.
But the final task is the cure because they still can't get access to a lot of things because of, rage. So kids are out gathering evidence, and their mom, Hannah, is becoming ill. Jim is doing what he can, but the doctors believe that she's becoming infected slowly over time, which is a new mutation they have not seen before. This gets scientists thinking she has the answers. I realized I didn't finish typing, but I know what I was going to say, so you can just...
I wasn't looking.
Okay. So anyway, this gets them thinking she has the answers. She's going to start allowing them to kind of experiment on her because it's for the greater good. But Jim doesn't like what they're doing. It makes him feel, like flashback to season 2, And so ultimately, Jim is trying to find other ways and other cures, but Hannah's children realize that she may actually have the answer. One of them is a scientist themselves, and for the greater good of humanity, they decide to kill her because she's dying anyway and becoming infected. However, by killing her, they do find a cure.
Nice.
And then they're raised by Papa Jim.
Wouldn't mind a 28 hours later first season, which just shows that first fucking day. Well, I like it.
Thanks.
So mine's called 28 Minutes Later. And it's a short film.
Oh, you haven't done one of those in a long time.
And it's going to be short in my description, too.
Okay.
Our characters are Alex and Danny, and they're twin brothers who have been alive sometime in the apocalypse. All they have is each other, and somehow they make the best of it. Normally, the pair get along great, but they've begun to disagree with their next steps. Alex Alex wants to go east looking for a rumored settlement, but Danny thinks it's best to stay where they are. One day, during a supply run, Alex is almost killed and they barely bring back any supplies. This ignites an argument as Alex points to this failure as another sign they need to leave. The argument gets heated and Danny knocks over an oil lamp leading to a fire. The noise, light, and heat draw the infected from the supply run to Alex and Danny. They try to escape, but Danny is bitten by the infected and begins to turn. Retconning the previous movie, it takes 28 minutes for Danny to turn, and Alex doesn't know what to do. In those 28 minutes, we see Danny having flashbacks of all the good times with his brother going all the way back to his childhood. As Danny recalls these core memories, he is attempting to run away from Alex, who is pursuing him, not wanting to accept his brother's fate. As the 28 minutes gets closer and closer to being over, the infection begins to reach Danny's brain. He is no longer remembering the good times. We see his flashbacks filled with every disagreement or argument that the pair has ever had, and each memory is becoming distorted, as we see Danny remembering Alex being much more aggressive during these arguments. In his final moments, he has nothing left but hate and rage, and lunges for Alex. In an end credit scene, we see Alex after some time has passed looking more grizzled and experienced, and still in the same location that Danny never wanted to leave. Alex stares blankly at a dark room until suddenly an infected Danny runs at Alex once more, and we are shown he is chained up and unable to reach his brother. That's it.
Pretty good.
I just wanted to make it like the episode of The Walking Dead where Tyrese is bitten in that house and they're driving him back and he's laying in the back of the car and like just dying, and it's like the whole episode.
That's a sad episode.
I know, but I think that episode's done really well, and watching someone degrade like that, and I think that this would be an interesting way to show how kind of in real life your memories are distorted as time goes on. And sometimes too, even when you have a negative memory of someone, you remember it so much worse than it was, and you're just seeing how it infects their brain and they just don't see anything but rage anymore. So thank you so much for listening. We do so appreciate it. If you want to talk movies with us, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads, and Blue Sky. We are NansPod everywhere.
NansPod.
If you'd like to vote on whose sequel idea was the best, come by our YouTube channel for the polls, or you can let us know your idea across our socials or at needlesssequel@gmail.com. Links, as always, will be wherever you are listening. If I could ask you for one thing, it's to share our show with someone and leave us a review. That is how we get new listeners. Of course, I also ask that you come back for more Needless Sequels. Next week, we're watching Megan in preparation...
Mithrigan.
Next week, we're watching Mithrigan in preparation for Mithrigan 2.0, releasing on Friday, June 27th. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We will see you next week.
Bye!